Let's call our meeting back to order. Next item on the agenda. Let me find the agenda. Item B, Earthwalk Sole Source Resolution, Appendix G, Dawn Brinson.
I'd like to request the board approve the Earthwalk sole source resolution.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item C, Surplus List, Appendix H. Who's filling? Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We ask the board to approve the items listed as surplus property. These items are no longer necessary or desirable for public school purposes.
Second.
Comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Just for the record, Eddie will be filling in for Bill tonight because anytime Bill goes on vacation is when we seem to have a natural disaster. So we will be preventing Bill from going on any more vacation.
Item D, Schematic Design Presentation for John T. Hoggard High School, Additions and Renovations, Appendix I. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hoggard High School additions and renovations are included in the 2014 bond program. The designer is BMH Architects, and John Murray is here tonight to present schematic designs. At this time, I'll turn it over to John.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's a privilege to be here. What I thought I would do, we've structured the presentation to start with where we left off during our last meeting, which is looking at the site plan and some basic decisions we made with master planning. Secondly, I've got some floor plans where I'm going to talk about some of our basic design concepts and our efforts to implement those. And then lastly, I've got some imagery that show what the building could look like. Please feel free to stop me at any time with any questions, and I'll try to address those. This is the site plan, and this is the existing front entry. This is the existing gym. This is the proposed gym addition. And then this is an area in the rear that we're reworking the dining area, and this is a planned addition. You can see that this is being placed where we have existing parking, and also we have an existing stage area that's about in this location that's got to be demolished for this new addition to be placed. One of the things we noticed as we visited the school is that we really would like to work on creating a sense of entry. Sometimes it's difficult to find your way at Hoggard. We also know it's going to be important to create a sense of entry into the new gym, and our preliminary plan is to have a exterior connecting walkway between those two. This is a shot of the gym area. This is the new gym. This is the existing gym. This is dining. And really what we've got here is a primary circulation corridor. We have locker rooms, team locker rooms back here. We have coaches' offices, sports medicine, and a laundry. And this is toilets and concession, oriented along the large circulation spine. The dining is placed adjacent to existing dining. It's approximately 3,500 square feet. The new gym is planned to be about 29,000 square feet. This is a close-up of the new gym, which gives you a little bit more detail. Bathrooms, concession. This is team storage. These are the locker rooms. And the way these are structured, 2 boys' locker rooms share a common bathroom. 2 girls' locker rooms share a common bathroom. These are the coach offices, laundry, sports medicine. And it's a fairly simple arrangement. We've got a wide corridor for circulation, and this is actually going to be a firewall that separates our new building from the existing. This is a nice lobby that's being placed at the front entry.
And the capacity of this gym is how many?
The bleacher capacity right now is 1,630.
These are about the same size as the one that's at Ashley.
So is it going to be open at all to the other gym, or it's going to be completely closed off?
It'll be completely closed off. That's going to be necessary. So we have to have a 3-hour fire separation between the new gym and the older gym. There's some things, we're going to have to sprinkler this new building. We're trying not to sprinkler the older one, and there's some things we have to do to be able to implement that kind of design. So it makes it a firewall requirement.
What about, I noticed in the design, it looks like it's a higher building. Are there any plans for like a second story or a walkway around the top or anything like that? Or is it just the one story?
It's one story. We were looking at one time about a mechanical mezzanine that could take up some of that area, but the latest revisions probably will have some of that mechanical equipment placed on a roof. So the roof area will actually drop as you move backwards from where the lobby's located. This is the existing gym, and it's remaining mainly the same. We're gonna try to replace the flooring in this. We are planning to remove some of these bleachers. They've really got more than they need, especially for an auxiliary gym. And we're going to add a ticket area here for the main gym. In the back, this entire area right now are PE locker rooms. They're really not utilized very efficiently. So we're going to take some of that space and convert it into a second classroom and offices, and we are consolidating the PE locker rooms into a smaller amount of square footage. This is the dining in the back. This is the proposed addition. One of the things facilities asked to not only look at increasing the area where you could sit down and dine, but also to look at the efficiencies of the existing layout. And so one of the things we noticed is that the serving lines right now are oriented this way. So what happens is when the students queue up in a line, it's almost impossible for staff in the kitchen to bring the food out because they're having to cross the line of students. So one of the big ideas is to take these and turn them the other way so I can have uninterrupted communication from staff and replenishing that line. The other thing we're trying to do is some of the students that come through are looking for small items a la carte, but they're stuck in the line with everybody that's getting a full meal. So we're proposing that we pull out 2 a la carte stations so we can reduce the line size and make it a little bit more flexible and a little bit quicker to get food.
How many additional seats in the dining area should that create?
Gosh, I have not calculated that. It looks like 1, 2, 3.
Well, just an estimate, yeah. 300?
I'd say, yeah, it looks like around 300.
Okay.
This is some imagery of what this building could look like. This is the new entry here. This is a exterior covered walkway, and we're going to kind of move over towards the gym. And this is the new gym entry. We're proposing a sloped roof for that gym, and we're trying to introduce some glass and really make this a dynamic and exciting space off Shipyard. And as we move around the back of the building, this is the team locker rooms. And there's a shared bathroom in between each of those. And we're going to kind of jump over the school now to where the dining addition is planned. So we've got about 3,500 square feet of covered area, but we've also got about 1,200 square feet, well, 1,200 square feet of covered, 3,500 square feet of enclosed. But there's a lot of outdoor dining at Hoggard, so we're trying to take advantage of some terraces they already have and actually make them better spaces to dine outdoors. And this is just going to kind of swing us back around to the front. So, are there any questions or comments?
Now we've taken up that parking area there for the new gym. So where are we going to put? Where are they going to park when they come to that facility?
Well, we spoke to CLH, who's our site designer, and we wanted to run some comparisons of the number of spaces for Hoggard as opposed to what's currently planned for other schools in the state. They do quite a bit of work for Wake County. We're losing 93 spaces to place that gym there. We're going to be left with 694 spaces. If you look at the ratios that Wake County is implementing, we've actually got more parking remaining than they would be doing for a new school of similar size. We also have a little bit more than Laney's going to have. So we are above the design guidelines for parking. Now, they're going to lose some, but we're hoping that they can restructure maybe some of their sophomore parking and reduce those counts to make this work for them.
They're not going to allow sophomores unless there are spaces to have parking passes, as they do now.
Park over in the shopping center parking lot.
Yeah. I guess
Let's hope not.
Well, it's a fact.
So the glass looks beautiful. Is that going to be special glass so the heat is not going to be that intense coming in, or the?
Well, it is. We've got, you know, the North Carolina Energy Code over the past couple of years is very strict. So there's several things we're looking at with that glass. One is you know, very good energy efficiency. But the second is we're going to have eastern and western exposure. So one of the things we're going to do with this computer model is actually do some modeling of how the sun's going to travel and what it's going to look like inside that space. There's some selections we can make with glass, and maybe it isn't totally clear with the film. It might be semi-transparent. There are a lot of variations we can do to keep glare from coming into the building and still maintain energy efficiency. So as we work through design development, that's going to be one of the key things that we're looking at.
Any other questions, or?
The only other question I had is there's a space right now that is kind of an open courtyard, I guess you'd say, in front of the cafeteria. Is that going to remain, or are you going to try to incorporate that into any of the design? Because to me right now it's kind of a wasted space, and the students, it seems like it tends to be a problem area with trash and debris right now.
I totally agree with you. So there's some elevated dining, but then as it drops down,
Yes.
it gets worse. And there's
Yeah.
storage containers back there, and there's
Yeah.
some other things that aren't very attractive. So if you look at this area, we just caught it at the right time, all of this area here is a rework of that courtyard you're talking about. So we're gonna have covered dining, but we're gonna rework that courtyard so it's just a really cool place to be. So
Great, so it'll be incorporated into like the dining area,
It
okay.
will. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the, to me, one of the nicest things about that rear design.
Big
is
tables,
really picking
about
up
how
that
many
space.
tables do you think? Couldn't you put a lot of tables in that area?
You absolutely could, and a lot of people dine outside at Hoggard, you know, most of the year.
Well, and that is part of the problem, because you have to, you don't have a choice.
That's
And
right.
I was a little worried about the 300 seats extra, because I think you need even more than that. But the problem is policing the areas that you've got, because when you walk into the cafeteria now, there's one small room, and then there's another room in the back. You can't see all of that. So the kids go outside, they throw the trash on the ground,
Right.
and then they get in trouble, and they suspend them from being outside, so they squish them all into the cafeteria, and the cycle keeps repeating.
Right.
So ending that and allowing more access for fewer teachers to have to keep, you know, eyes in the back of their heads to see someone throwing something on the ground, to me would be great. And I'm sure that you've talked to everybody about it. I couldn't really see it in the presentation.
Well, it's hard to see that scale, but we did talk about that, and so one of the things we're doing is removing that wall. So the only thing that'll be left will be a column, and that'll be completely opened up, so you don't have a place for students to congregate where they're out of view from staff. And there's going to be so much class in that backside. I think it's going to be much easier to monitor the student population that's in that courtyard. So it's I think it's accomplishing both of those goals.
Good. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? We have a motion? We have a motion and a second? Okay. Ms. Higgins, you second, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item E, schematic design presentation for EA Laney High School additions and renovations.
I do have one question I need to ask. When is this gonna be bid? When are you gonna bid this?
Well,
Or is that,
what we'd like to do, you know, we're going to utilize a cement risk contractor who I think we're in the process of trying to select. So we hope to have at least a portion of this construction going on this summer. And for us, the most critical first thing to do is to get rid of the stage, because we've got to clear that area for the new addition to be placed. So, but that as a minimum needs to take place this summer, as well as getting materials and everything ready to hit it hard once the school year starts.
Mr. Higgins, I'll add to that. We do anticipate bringing you a recommendation for our construction manager at the November meeting, and getting them on board very quickly. We'll be going through the bidding process in the May timeframe of next year. And as John said, our hope is that we can get work done this summer to be ready for construction and ready for the start of school.
if you do it in May, I mean, doesn't sound like it's much time to do work during the summer. It would seem April or March might be
He's
about.
talking more about site prep work as opposed to
We're,
actual.
yeah, we're talking about site, just getting the site prep work done.
Okay.
There's gonna be some, some site work and new traffic patterns and moving things around. We wanna get all of that done, so when they come back for the start of the school year,
Right.
they're in a traffic pattern that they're gonna be in for the remainder of that year. We don't wanna make changes during the school year, so our focus is to implement those changes during that summer, and then we'll get into the, more major construction during the year.
I'm dreading it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, item E for Laney High School. Mr. Anderson.
Right. Again, this project is included in the 2014 bond program. The designer is Sawyer Sherwood and Associates Architecture, and John Sawyer and Doug Sherwood are both here tonight to present schematic designs.
Let's start with the site plan for the project. We have the luxury of a little more space than at Hoggard. If you recall, the master plan for the project included putting a new gym behind the existing Michael Jordan gym. So the road is along this edge. The bulk of the school is all the academic wing is here. That's the existing cafeteria facility. So we're putting gym addition in that location. We're then putting a media center in this location, which is adjacent to the existing arts building. It's between the arts building and the cafeteria. Site planning wise, we think our landscape architect has done a wonderful job. We are providing in the project a new bus loop. So buses come in that way and loop around. We have room in that area for a total of 26 buses. 12 of them can queue up along this edge. The landscape architect has provided a good walkway, plaza design, and good opportunities for some nice landscaping, some large shade trees, which are always desirable here. Also in the site plan, there's a specialty bus loop that is generated along this back edge, and it puts the specialty buses close to the end of what I like to call sort of the entrance plaza for Laney. That's the covered canopy. It extends through, so our addition defines that a little better and develops the end closest to the ball fields a little more completely. The other thing that's happening in the site plan is we are adding about 50 spaces that will serve faculty and staff at this school. Around the media center design, I'm going to show you some more drawings, of course, that just illustrate how this building and the covered walks help define, better define an existing courtyard that's a very active space on this campus. So the media center design and the courtyard design, they complement each other and they work together to create what I think will be a really nice media center. This overview sort of illustrates a little more of what we're doing. That's the new gym. This is the Michael Jordan gym. And one of the interesting things about, I think, both Hoggard and Laney is that the original buildings create these courtyard spaces that are letting more daylight into the school, but they're also good student activity spaces. So our plan is to continue that process on this school. We're doing that with the gym addition because it gives better definition to this plaza space, and then our media center is located there, and it's doing a better job of defining this larger courtyard space that is accessed by the students directly from their student parking area, and it also is accessed pretty directly by from the athletic fields in the stadium. This is our gymnasium addition. The large element, of course, is the gym. It's very similar to what's being proposed for Hoggard. In fact, we've tried to collaborate so that we are providing similar facilities in both locations. The gym layout, the gym floor, the spacing of things is based on our experience with gyms, but it's also based on actually mocking this up with the coaches in one of the existing gyms to be sure that we have adequate space for the scorers table, the teams, the queue to get in the game, all of that. So we actually did it at Hoggard with the coaches, got chairs out, set it all up just to make sure that we had it right. And so we feel good that that's a hands-on process. So we understand what they anticipate needing. So that is set up, and the bleachers do run all the way from the end of that space that is needed to run the game all the way back to the back wall. The same number of bleachers on both sides of the gym. With the bleachers retracted, 2 gym courts will fit in that space. All the markings will be there. There'll be parallel courts, actually turned 90 degrees from the game court. The space between this is the new gym, that's the existing gym. All of this is either new or renovated space, and it's all the service spaces that are needed for both gyms. We have team locker rooms, PE locker rooms, classroom space, the classroom space is in yellow, and then all the support spaces, storage, the trainer, coaches' offices, some more coaches' offices in that location. So all of that area is serving both gyms. One of the things we're doing now is trying to improve the efficiency in our design, and so we're making some revisions in that area. On the other side of the new gym is a new lobby space. In the master plan, remember we talked about the future auditorium happening at this school. So this lobby is set up so that the dashed line there is sort of the footprint of a future building, so they can share this lobby in the future. The lobby has public restrooms, concessions area, and is also arranged on the site so that one can go through the lobby and use that space as part of the queue for the bus loop. This is kind of the edge of the bus loop. So we think it'll be a very useful space. These are some elevation drawings. This is our schematic design level. The first elevation drawing, that is the Michael Jordan gym in the foreground. The building is in the background. This middle elevation is the side you would see from the bus loop. We also want to use some high glass in the gym space. I think that would be a really effective way to get daylight into the space, but also for that space to show well at night on a game night. This elevation is from the specialty bus loop. Those large areas are glass areas on the lobby space. Again, all sides of the gym do have high glass. And then finally, the elevation at the bottom is the elevation you see when you're in the student plaza between the buildings. So that's the Michael Jordan gym. This is part of the existing service space for the gym. And then our new building starts there, the gym mass, and then the new lobby space. This is a view from the bus loop side of the building, with that being the existing gym facility. The new gym is here, and it's flanked by the support space, and then on the other side, the new lobby space. This is a view from the student plaza. This is sort of standing under the covered entry point for Laney. The materials we're looking at doing this with, we're trying to utilize materials that are already at Laney, including we want to use a precast concrete wall panel, stuff with a large joint pattern. This would be brick masonry. We would use a brick masonry with some contrast to the concrete, and then that product is a metal wall panel that we've used at Laney already in their field house. It seems to be holding up well. And then glass. The entry lobby is fairly glassy. And now some of the revisions we've made, we've extended this out a little farther so there's more cover over that entrance. But imagine this, you know, on a game night when, and the same is true with the Hoggard scheme, on a game night when the lights are on in the gym and you walk into this space and all of that is lit and you're seeing the roof structure in the gym. The lobby is bright and lit. I think it will present really well as a very active place. And I think will be a big plus. The media center part of the project, this is the part of the existing arts building. The media center, again, uses glass to connect this building space with the courtyard. The courtyard extends a little further this way. The cafeteria's about there. The covered walks also help to define that space. So the media center looks out into that courtyard. It is a pretty open plan. A lot of movable pieces. It's a very 21st century idea because the functions of the space really are supported by the movable furniture in the space. The plan gets a little more fixed as you move down in the building with fixed walls on study spaces, group study spaces, the book stacks, workrooms, and the maker space. These are elevations, similar materials. The arts building right now is precast concrete. We would carry some of that. Although the arts building uses a lot of precast concrete, we're not using quite as much. The glass on the courtyard is all north facing. This elevation is the opposite side of the building. It faces the stadium, and it is south oriented. So we can, with a stepped roof design, we can develop clear stories in the roof that will let light in from the south. We can use overhangs to easily prevent direct sun from getting in the media center, but filtering daylight into the media center, sort of in the core of the building. That bottom elevation is indicating the stepped roof. You can again see it in this image where those are clear story bands. This is the courtyard improvements, the canopies, the glass, and the more cafe-like is one of the terms we've used. End of the open space is adjacent to that glass wall, so we're trying to get, or we are getting the space to flow from inside to outside and vice versa. Finally, when the media center is completed and the media center moves, the existing media center moves into the new building, then we have the existing media space to renovate, and we are able to create 4 classroom spaces. They are the larger size classrooms, which is one of Laney's needs, the most needed size of classroom. So we'll be doing that. That will happen late in the job after the media center can be relocated.
So between those 4 and then the 2 that are going in the gym, that's 6 additional classrooms for the school.
That's correct. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
What is the new media center square footage in comparison to the old? It looks to be significantly larger. I'm just curious as to.
The new media center is, there's actually programmed at 12,000 square feet, but that included a lot of circulation space, spaces for restrooms, other items that are needed. One thing we were able to do in our evaluation of the site was by connecting it to the performing arts building, we're able to utilize the 4 restrooms that are already in the performing arts building, so we're able to shrink that square footage down a little bit, but we're still probably 10,000 square feet.
Compared to the existing?
That would be total, the existing square footage.
Existing square footage in the existing media center.
I'm not sure.
We're not sure.
Is.
Based on those classrooms are probably 1,000 or 1,200 square feet. So it's safe to say that the main RLV area of the media center is more than twice the size of the current
That's what
Laney
it
Media
looked
Center.
like, but I wasn't, that's what I was
So
getting
we're
at.
about doubling the library.
Okay, wonderful.
What is, I mean, with the kind of the changing shape of libraries these days, you know, fewer books, more things on, you know, digital media, how does that change the configuration of the space? Have we thought about that? I mean, what is the purpose of making the media center that much bigger?
Don, anything you want to add about the media?
Yes, please.
I saw you shaking your head.
The whole purpose of the media center isn't just for the print books anymore. It's a place where kids can work together, collaborate, work in small groups, work on problem solving. That's why we have that makerspace room, so they can use materials in there to solve problems. We have small little conference rooms, so if a small group needs to meet together, or if you can have basically 3 classes in there at one time. And so if a teacher needs to pull a small group of kids into a separate setting, they can, while the rest of the kids are in there doing research and working on projects. So it's the type of space and how it's being used is completely different now.
Plus with the portability of moving stuff, you'll see more connections in the floor than you will on the wall.
Yeah, there's not gonna be, we're doing wireless in there, there's not gonna be a lot of fixed computers and all that. They'll have
Okay,
like a mobile
okay.
lab in there and the kids will check those out.
Okay.
It'll be wireless access. We're, like in the Porter's Neck Elementary School, we're looking for furniture that kids can write on with expo markers when they're kind of collaborating together. So we're looking a lot of just kind of different kinds of stuff for kids to be able to collaborate and work together.
One of the other requirements that we picked up on is, the media center likes to accommodate 3 classrooms at a time. They may actually use it as a classroom space and teach, but most likely it's, more for resource purposes. So we kind of have an area here that's a little more closed off with a projection screen located this orientation. And then we have room for 2 other classrooms, and with the movable furniture, this building can be set up so that you kind of have 3 distinct areas, so to speak, 4 classrooms to use at one time and still have other people milling around, as well as with the furniture being flexible, it can be cleared out and you can do another type of event as well.
But the idea is that, yes, this is very flexible space. It's also, you know, data rich. It's got, you know, we really want it to be a very desirable place for the students, where they can use their smartphones, their tablets, their media, and access, you know, access the school, access the learning environment.
Move for approval. Second.
Any other questions, comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? It's approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item F, schematic design presentation, Hanover High School, George West Building renovations, Appendix K, Ms. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the last schematic design presentation. This is New Hanover High School, the George West Building. And again, this project is included in the 2014 bond program. It is renovations to the George West Building and the band room, the ROTC building. The designer is Becker Morgan Group. Ernie Olds and Rick Collins are here tonight to present schematic designs.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Eddie, and board. Pleasure to be here. Our work is maybe a little less dramatic, but very, very much as important as the other group. So we'll take you through it. I know you've been through a lot here. We'll try to make it a little bit quick. I'm going to take a few minutes and explain what it is. Then Rick Collins, our project manager, is going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do, and we'll finish it up with the sequence in which we're going to do it. First is just an orientation. This is the George West part of New Hanover High School. This is on the south side of Market Street. It's connected by the overhead walkway, which would be right in that area. North is facing to my left. The building was built in roughly 1958 or so. It's a 2-story building. The ground level was used as vocational education. Second floor is classrooms, and it remains pretty much that today. That's the classroom, I'm sorry, the vocational area. The back of the first floor is the band room, and there's a lease space for a wellness area as well. Adjacent to that, and at some time later, ROTC took over the adjoining building, which is this little piece here, and it's a 1-story building. Our classrooms are that second floor that sits up here. Since 1958, air conditioning was added to the second floor only of that area. So it would be nice to get air conditioning on the ground level, and that's certainly one of our tasks with this project. Additionally, one of the things that we found very interesting and maybe even a little disturbing, frankly, there's a hallway that right now that connects the back ends of the vocational education areas to the outside and serves as two toilets. There's a toilet at either end. There's a boys' toilet at one end, and a girls' toilet at opposite end here in this little concrete tunnel. So not really the best learning environment and the best kind of circumstances for that. The building's in generally very good shape. It's been well taken care of, but certainly in need of a lot of TLC. So Rick's going to tell us a little bit about what we're going to do to improve this whole thing.
First, we'll talk a little bit about the ROTC building, which is over this area. We'll be doing brand new toilet rooms, bringing them up to accessible standards here for the students. That'll be the major addition to the ROTC building.
I'm
The rest
sorry,
of-
would you speak into the
Sorry,
microphone?
back up. The toilet rooms right here. The remainder of the classroom configurations will stay the same. We'll be upgrading the finishes, new flooring, new paint on the walls, replacing any damaged ceiling tile, all new lighting, new IT cabling throughout. That'll be the ROTC portion. When we move over to the vocational area, through here we have ESL and distance learning as well here. These will be converted to more of a classroom type of thing from the shop they are right now, with the suspended ceiling, new lighting, new flooring as well. We have a brand new staff toilet, which they no longer don't have on this building on the first floor. So we've added one staff toilet here down in this corner. The back corridor that Ernie was talking about, where we have 2 toilet rooms at the end, we've converted that to separate boys and girls toilet rooms, which will service each classroom in that portion of the building. So the teacher has direct visual contact with all the restrooms, students coming and going, rather than going down a corridor through the back. We've also preserved the second entrances, egress entrances as well through here. Graphics is located here. We're going to rearrange their space a little bit to get a little more efficiency out of it. It's a very busy area, as well as tech ed and the construction portion of the last portion of the edge of the building over here. These spaces will be basically shops when they're all done. You'll see have the concrete floors, but the ceiling, instead of concrete ceiling, will all be painted in an off-white. All the piping, everything will be kind of an industrial exposed look. So we'll increase the lighting levels in there, brand new lighting throughout. We'll take, add alternates for LED lighting to go to LED, a little more energy efficient for these spaces. The band room on the end is, right now it has 3 tiers inside of here. In talking with the band directors, 2 of them now, it's really not conducive to band practice like it used to be. And we have accessibility issues with this portion of the building. There's no way for anyone with disabilities to gain access to this area of the building. So what we're doing is raising the floor level right here 14 inches up, creating just 1 tier in the band room, and that allows us to then to get a ramp here underneath the porch and gain accessibility to these areas. Brand new toilet rooms, make those accessible as well. New central HVAC throughout this entire space. Brand new chiller back here, upgraded boiler here in the boiler room. It'll service both the second floor and the first floor as well for the George West building. And actually, this area in the band room has no air conditioning or heat right now. They have just a couple window units right here, so that'll be a big improvement for them. The second floor of George West here is mainly all scientific classrooms. We're going to go in and refurbish the lockers in the hallway. All the scientific casework is seen somewhere. We're going to repair all that and get that refurbished. Replace some ceiling tile, new lighting with, again, an added alternate for LED lighting. New paint on the walls and brand new toilet rooms. We've got all these toilet rooms, make these accessible and clean up the image significantly on the second floor. And the new stairwells right here will be refurbished, new handrails, new nosings on the stairways, and just general fix-up. They're in pretty bad shape. So it's basically a renovation job. That's what it is.
I have a question.
Sure.
I know when we redid Hanover, the building, the main building, there were some issues about settling, and there's some funky-looking walls. When you went in this building, what did you find as far as the stability of the structure? Because I know some of it's almost right across the street from where some of it's settling, and apparently there's an underground stream or something.
There's some water issues, there are some settlement issues. This building's in pretty good shape, but there has been some recent developments right in here that would indicate to us there is probably some settlement going on currently in the facility. We have a structural engineer looking at it now, and maintenance, as well as is researching it from the school system. So that will be looked at very closely. We do have some structural work that's going to be done on the building in terms of there's overhang canopies that are in kind of bad shape. We're going to go in and repair all those as well. And some brick damage here and there. Not as extensive, but a little bit of bowing called creep from a building that's that old. That'll be taken out and replaced. But the settlement issue will be addressed before we start construction.
Very good.
As to what's going
Good.
on.
Thank you.
Ernie's
So,
gonna-
step in a little bit and just talk about the schedule. One of the differences with this project, of course, is that we have to keep everybody going. This is no new addition here. We've got to make this work between summers. So we spent some time working that out. The plan would be, this would be the beginning of next summer, calendar year 2016. ROTC would leave their present space, go across the street to the Princess Place gym on the campus, and that would allow then the vocational ed folks to displace from their current location and move temporarily into the ROTC area for the fall of 2016. During the summer, we'll begin to work on the mechanical and the plumbing and so forth for the vocational area, as well as do all of the work in the band area, so that by the fall of 2016, band's back in business, and we'll have the remainder of that fall to continue to work on the vocational space. The idea that by Christmas of 2016, vocational is ready to move back from ROTC into their new space, and ROTC now, who is vacated, is empty and able to be worked on between Christmas of 16 and then the end of the spring semester in 2017. That leaves only then, I say only, not lightly, but the classroom area then to be renovated in the summer of 2017. Everybody should be good to go then by the fall of 2017. But in order to do all of this, we're trying to really advance our program a little more quickly and try to get to bidding sooner. Like to be able to bid maybe January if we could, if we can push it that fast. So we have plenty of time for the contractors to organize themselves and be prepared on the third week of June to actually be doing some meaningful work on the project and really make our time frame. So that's probably one of the different challenges that we have with this particular project. And from a budget standpoint, our schematic design estimate's under the targeted number at this point, so we're happy about that. I'm sure we'll find some other ways to spend the money in structural repairs and so forth, but things are smooth sailing so far. So, any questions I can answer?
Second.
Any other comments or questions?
This will be the first of the 3 high school projects that you really see get up and going.
Well, we'll go ahead and approve it first. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. The only thing I'll throw out, Mr. Anderson, is that since we're going to have excess money, you know, there's a need we're very concerned about across the street concerning air conditioning.
We only need 500,000.
Yeah.
Can you find that?
Are we going to five
We,
here to air condition
yeah,
Brogdon Hall?
At your request, we did do a little more thorough investigation of Brogdon Hall and what it would take to air condition that facility. There's a need to replace the existing chiller there that's there now. So incorporating that into the project, we've gotten 2 estimates, one at 1.2 million, one at 1.7 million. In talking to the engineer, we think it's probably on the low side of that. You recall that the 500,000 number was a placeholder we put in the budget last year, and I told you that was probably a 10-year-old number. Didn't expect it to go up that much, but I think a 1.5 million is really what we're looking at to do what's needed to fully air condition Brogdon Hall and replace the chiller that's currently there. serving the few spaces in that facility that are air conditioned. So, you know, we are not gonna find $1.5 million on this renovation project to do that. So we've directed the designers to proceed with the renovation project they're currently contracted on, and we'll have to look at other ways of funding air conditioning in Brogdon Hall.
All right, so you just to refresh my memory, you had put 500,000, proposed 500,000 for the air conditioning last year?
If you looked at, remember, we have to do a two-year
Right.
budget. And so in the second year of that budget, we put in 500,000 for Brogdon Hall
All
air
right.
conditioning.
All right, so 500,000 for Brogdon Hall.
So we're gonna have to, it looks like we're gonna have to replace a chiller at the main building.
I understand. And maybe I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna ask. I understand the bids, the bid we're gonna approve for the Porter's Neck Elementary came in under what you expected it to come in. Is that correct?
That's correct.
About 500,000. Roughly 500,000.
A little more, but you're right.
Okay, 500 and 500 is $1 million. We're gonna get sales tax back, supplemental refunds. It strikes me that between what we're saving on Porter's Neck, what we plan to spend next year anyway, and the fact that the county has agreed to provide supplemental sales tax refunds, we should be able to come up with $1.5 million if that's what we need.
But I can't guarantee that all 14 projects are gonna come in under bid.
Well, I know that, but I'm talking about the, you know, if I take the ones that have come in under, and, you know, if a later one goes over, well, I mean, you know, we'll just have to deal with that when that comes. But I'm trying to get another project done that apparently people are very interested in getting completed.
Can we wait until we do all 14, and then when we have all the money left, fix the air conditioning?
Yeah, you mean in the year 2020? That's what you're talking about.
I don't think we have to wait until 2020, but I will tell you that, you know, we got bids on Porter's Neck that were very favorable.
I understand.
That is not gonna happen on all of these projects.
Well, you didn't think it
That's-
was gonna happen on that one either.
You're exactly right, and I'm still surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised. I'd much rather be, you know, that much under than over budget. But we do have several projects bidding next year. And we will have a much better understanding of where we are in our bond if we can look at funding Brogdon Hall next year.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with funding next year, but I'm saying, if you got 500,000 for next year and you've saved 500,000 on Porter's Neck, let's don't go squandering that money
Oh, absolutely not.
on some other project. If we have to cut back on another
put it in a
project,
lockbox.
yeah, put it in a lockbox.
We are, that's a great way to put it.
I mean, we got a lot of priorities that we're looking at. We're looking at a CT high school, we're looking at, you know, air conditioning. We do have to prioritize.
That's
but
what I was gonna say.
I-
What's the next on the list of the priorities?
Yeah.
Probably one of the middle schools.
No, I'm talking about the priority list that we sort of
You
whittled down.
mean the 15 that we had?
Correct. We have
384 million that we whittled down to 160.
priorities that are already queued up.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to know what that next priority is.
I don't know, we'd have to get
And
Mary.
If we
I
could
think that's a
accomplish
very
that.
good point, and I think this shows that, you know, in a year, I think that's when we need to have that discussion, and we need to bring all those priorities to the board, and we'll have a much better idea of the money that's available.
Well, we're also in the middle of, it's time to redo our state priority plan, that 10-year plan that we do.
Right.
That's
So we're
right.
going back to our priorities, looking at those things again as well. And so we could look at, you've got 500,000 in next year's
So we
budget.
got 4 votes.
So you could use that to do some of your design work and planning work, and then maybe use lottery funds the year after that in your regular capital process to get past the planning phase and into the building phase, if you spread that over 2 years.
I mean, every other school will have an air-conditioned gym. Right?
That's correct.
So all we're doing
Brogdon
is
Hall.
bringing Hanover up to the same equity as Ashley, Hoggard, and Laney have.
That's it.
That's correct. We just last year, we air conditioned the very last kitchen in the district. So we have been making an effort to provide
you
air
have.
conditioning in all our facilities, and air conditioning in the kitchen was probably a 15-year implementation plan for us, but we got through it. We've been air conditioning the middle school gyms. There were 4 middle school gyms that I think about 2 years ago, we just got air conditioned. So we are to the point now where the only gym that is not air conditioned is Brogdon Hall.
See, and we catch a lot of grief from that Hoggard and Laney now have gyms that are air conditioned. Now, we're gonna build newer, larger gyms in those schools that are air conditioned. And I'm having a lot of people say to me, well, what's wrong with Hanover? Why haven't you air conditioned Brogdon Hall? As hot as, somebody the other day was telling me they almost passed out in there at the, I think some volleyball games, because it was so hot in there. Of course, this is before all the rain. But Mr. Higgins makes a good point. We just don't want it, we just want to be moving in that direction where we can.
we have it on the agenda for a discussion item.
Well, I think to Eddie's point, we need to wait until after the next year we bid out these other projects and we look, and all of this stuff sort of flushes out and we see where we are in terms of finances and go back to our priority list. And if we want to move, if New Hanover's not the next priority list item, then we can move it up and accomplish that goal.
Well, I agree. I think we've got to wait and see,
Yeah.
you know.
The $500,000 is in year 2, so, perhaps the best time to discuss it would be in next year's budget meetings.
But you decide how to use that first $500,000, and that could, like I said, the planning phase, the design phase, and then the next year, move into budgeting the building portion of it.
Sounds like
Any
a
other
plan to me.
comments? Okay, next item, item G.
We have to vote.
I thought we voted.
You did, that's what, you have
Oh,
the
we
discussion
did?
after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, no, we're good. Item G, designer, yeah, we did it backwards. Designer selection for Veterans Park HVAC improvements and mechanical controls in Lakeside High School demolition. Appendix L, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Veterans Park project is included in the 2014 bond program. Lakeside is funded in the current fiscal year capital. Project announcement was advertised, 6 firms responded. Superintendent and the pre-selection committee recommend Stanford White Incorporated as the designer for Veterans Park, and BMH Architects or Bowman Murray Hemingway Architects for Lakeside High School demolition.
Move for approval.
Second.
Questions?
I would just say that the Lakeside is an example of a project that's it's been on our radar for
A lot.
for 6 years, as long as I've been here, and sometimes it's just a matter of getting to that point where you've got the funds to do it.
How much do we have there for that?
That was exactly my thought.
And that's
I know.
a lot.
It's gonna
That's what
fall
I'm
down by the
If-
time we
if-
get there.
You know,
It's basically
it
gonna
ain't-
take
if
care of
Waited
itself.
6 years, we.
The earth will reclaim it before we get around to it.
Maybe, but we got some use for it.
Maybe then we wouldn't have to spend any money, right?
No,
We
then
just
you
go
might
let
have
it fall
asbestos
in.
removal
Get
costs
off
that'll cost you more.
There's no question there. I don't see any.
We
No,
could
there's
just
not.
bury it and move on, right?
There's no.
Any other
No,
comments?
I don't know.
All those in favor, we did have a motion, correct?
Yes.
Second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Thank you. Item H, consideration of bids for Porter's Neck Elementary School. Appendix M, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Porter's Neck Elementary School is the first project to bid in the 2014 bond program. We received bids on September 10th, and we recommend award of the contract to Bordeaux Construction Company in the amount of $12,634,390.
Move for approval.
Second.
Questions?
Where is Bordeaux Construction? Where are they located?
Their main office is in Durham. They do have a Wilmington office, and they also are the same contractor that built Snipes. So we have a good working relationship and history with them.
Yeah, they did Snipes.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Item I, selection of engineering firms for geotechnical material testing and special inspections services, 2014 school bond program, fiscal year 2015-16, capital improvements. Business end, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is in response to new legislation regarding qualification-based selection of engineering and architectural services. We advertised this project announcement for geotech, material testing, and special inspections. 3 firms responded. The superintendent and pre-selection committee recommend award of the engineering firms that are listed in Appendix X.
Move for approval.
Second.
Questions?
Yeah, just a clarification. Is this to do specific work, or are we just putting these on notice that if we do need, or if somebody needs this work, they are the ones who will do it?
At this point, we are selecting this, putting them on notice that as the needs occur on these projects, we will contact them. And then we will, the next item on the agenda actually gets one of the firms under contract for Porter's Neck.
Well, okay, but just to be clear, we're not actually, by approving them, we're kind of putting on standby. We're not actually committing. If, for example, let's say Blair Elementary, well, no, I guess, the Rolling Grice, we're not building a new school at Rolling Grice. If they don't need this kind of work at Rolling Grice, we're not going to be committed to have to pay them anything.
You're correct. This is selection only. It's no commitment of
Okay.
funds.
Just want to be clear about that. Thank you.
You'd actually have to come back and approve the funds.
That's correct.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item J, consideration of professional services agreement for material testing and special inspections at Porter's Neck Elementary School, Appendix O. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the agreement for geotech, material testing, and special inspections for Porter's Neck. We recommend approval of the agreement to S&ME Inc. in the amount not to exceed $200,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Mr. Chairman, I had a couple of very small recommended changes on page 5, paragraph 1.13.1, under indemnification. I am recommending
You
down the bottom.
something other than what's on this sheet?
Yes, there are I wanted a couple of changes to be made to the language to broaden the indemnification obligation of the contractor. In 3 places, it talks about the contractor indemnifying the school board for claims arising solely from the consultant's negligence or failure to perform. I'm recommending that the word solely be stricken out in the 3 places where it appears, because we want the consultant to be liable to us whether he's the only one responsible or whether he's partially responsible. And in addition, in the very last line, the word engineer should actually read consultant, just to be consistent with the other language in the agreement.
I move for the addition of the motion to include those changes.
Second.
Okay, with those changes, any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Now we vote on the amended motion.
Yeah, I was lost on, okay. Okay, well, the amended motion now with Mr. Bullard's comments. Motion to approve.
So
All
moved.
those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Thank you. That was 5 of 23? Correct. Well, that's okay. I can check on that later. Item K, Gifted Advisory Council Bylaws, Council Membership, Appendix P. Dr. Smith.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would ask for the board's approval of the Gifted Advisory Council bylaws and the council membership for the 2015-2016 school year.
Move for approval.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item L, Amplify Renewal Contract, Appendix Q. Dr. Smith.
Thank you. I would ask for the board's approval of the Amplify Education contract.
Move for approval.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Item 13,
Thank
call to the audience. We've had one sign up for our non-agenda topic, Brandy Mathis. Well. Item 14, we'll need a motion to
No closed session.
oh, they've dropped that?
Yep.
Okay, well, we'll skip over item 14. Item 15, correspondence. Any correspondence any board members would like to share, starting with Mrs. Kavanaugh? Terrence?
No.
Thank you.
Anybody?
Nothing for me?
Well, I have something to share.
Oh, my goodness.
I just quickly wanted to share this. I don't know, we all received this. I'm wearing my pin, the Hope pin. It's not the Hope Diamond. Wish it were. We all received these from New Hanover High School. I just thought, you didn't?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
I
think
did.
so.
You
It's in
didn't?
your packet.
It's in your
Yeah.
packet,
Have you opened your packet?
Mhm.
Okay.
in an envelope.
You should have had a little pin attached.
No,
It's in their colors.
I'll
and
look in my,
it's
in the
got
bottom
Hope.
of the folder again, or the.
I just thought it was really
I'll look.
impressive, you know, what they did and so forth. So I've been wearing my little Hope pin. I had someone ask me today about it. But I just thought it was really neat. I liked the pin and so forth, and just wanted to compliment them publicly that, I thought it was
Well, it's their focus.
yeah.
And we're really pleased with all the efforts that our historical principals are working so closely with the teachers and the children. And from what we understand, things are a lot more settled this year.
That's their theme is hope, so I just thought it was very good and wanted to share that. No other correspondence? Let's see, is that under announcements? All right, under announcements, we can just start with that if you.
Yep, there is a change in state regulations, House Bill 44, local government regulatory reform, that requires us now to formally announce construction projects with a 15-day notice. So this is going to serve as our announcements in accordance with H44, local government regulatory reform 215, Section 12, amended by House 765, Section 1.8C. Notice is hereby given that the Hanover County Board of Education to all property owners and adjacent owners that construction of the new Porter's Neck Elementary School at 416 Edgewater Club Road is scheduled to begin within the next 45 days, but not before the 15-day notice required by this legislation. Why did you write that?
I was just telling Mr. Anderson, it sounds like something I would have read.
Thus meeting our legal obligation to announce.
We've met our legal obligations and made that announcement. All right, under other announcements, New Hanover County School Compensation Review Committee is scheduled to meet on Tuesday, October 13th, 9 to 10:30, room 101 of the Administration Building on Carolina Beach Road. Item B, Strategic Planning Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October the 20th, 1 to 4.
And Ms. Dash is doing a lot of pre-work to get ready for that meeting with you folks. She has done some surveying of folks, she's done some interviews with stakeholders, and she'll bring that to you so that you folks can develop those goals that we take back out for further input.
Okay, and item C, the Board of Education will hold a work session Tuesday, October 20th, 4 p.m. Here in this room. Item D, the next regular meeting of the board will be held on Tuesday, November 3rd, 5:30 here in this room. Any other announcements? Anything I've overlooked? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, we are adjourned.